I'm standing back from the microphone this time, hoping that that solves some of the sound problems that I get when recording these messages. I have so much to say today. It's unbelievable how fast things are happening. Those of you who don't know it, the Pope has been served with papers for crimes against humanity. And the reason he's been served with those are because he's guilty, number one. The question is, who is he? And why would he commit crimes against humanity? And we're going to ask that question about a lot of individuals on this planet. And I want to let everybody know that also the Queen Mother has been cut off from public funds. Obama is going to be, America is surrounded by Chinese and Russian forces who know that he's not human. And in fact, the Pope's not human, Queen Mother's not human. There's a lot of people on this planet who are not human. They appear human because they're using technology, holographic imagery, and they're able to look like humans even though they're not. And the good guys are going to blow the technology, turn down the signal that's feeding that image, the hologram, so that we know who's who. But I wanted to warn everybody that you might not be human either, okay? So I don't want anybody taking action against somebody just because they actually look like a reptile or a praying mantis bug or an ant or something like that, but they're human size. We blow that signal. Everybody's going to see everybody for who and what they really are. And I want you people to realize that who somebody is not about what they look like. It's about how they act. Are they self-serving? Would they serve themselves at everybody else's expense? Then those people are channeling the dark. And that's what gets down to what counts on this planet, is who's channeling love and light on this planet, and who's channeling self-serving, hurt anybody at any cost, darkness. And who is practicing Satanism? Who is conjuring fallen angels who have to do the bidding of physical entities because they fell out of the light. They decided to use their powers for reasons that were self-serving, and they made a promise to take care of a world, and they went back on their own promise. And there's so much history on this planet with regard to fallen angels who were really just messengers of the light. They were beings. They were physical beings. The Anunnaki. They were supposed to guard this world and take care of it. And unfortunately, they didn't. They came down to this planet and started living amongst the natives and got involved with manipulating genetics, and that actually brought more bad karma. Leaving your post is bad karma, but then, monkeying around with nature is more bad karma. And, you start stacking one wrong deed on top of another, then you end up with a world like this one that has been overrun by the dark. There are beings on this planet, human and otherwise, who are Satanists, who have been deliberately and willfully practicing Satanism, conjuring up fallen angels, getting them to do their bidding so that they can get rich and get over on everybody else. And there's enough of those guys now that they felt emboldened enough to actually enslave this world. But we outnumber the dark, and so their bright idea is to take down our numbers. And they've been trying everything they can think of to do that. They're releasing viruses like SARS and H1N1 in Mexico. But we're surrounded by friendlies up there who represent the light and who are here at Prime Creator's behest to help this planet rid itself of an infestation of Satanists. And there is a planet on its way, and it's being touted as a new Earth, and it's not a new Earth, it's a prison planet. And I wanted the human beings on this planet who are going to be asked to leave with the dark. I just wanted to let you folks know that that planet was made by the karma of the dark. And so going on to that planet means that you're choosing, and I want you to know that you're making a choice if you leave with these guys, because they are going to be allowed to leave. We're going to hold them in jail until their right gets here, and then they're going to go. And humans, well, there's a lot of human beings who think they're human who are not. They're reptilian. And when they see themselves for who and what they really are, they're going to realize that the reptilians who are their relatives who are the Satanists are going to want to take their kin with them, but you get to choose. You don't have to leave just because you're related to these guys. You don't have to leave just because you're carrying the genetics of whatever kind of creature. It doesn't matter. The only people that are being asked to leave are those who do not want to change, who do not want to be reconditioned, have their natures changed, because natures can be changed. It's all about choice. These guys don't have to be Satanists. They don't have to conjure the dark. They don't have to have the want and the will to get over on everybody else to feed their own lusts. The lust for power and the greed, that has fueled the Bilderbergs and the Masons and all the religions of this church that just want to take money and gain power. And all of that has been the channeling of the dark on this world. The religions on this planet were actually, as a result in part, by the Draconians who had ships. We call them Brill ships. They live on this planet underneath its surface. These flying saucers that most of us find are actually from Earth, and they have the technology. Have had it, since before there were humans here. And it's very ancient technology throughout the cosmos. People have to be able to move from star system to star system because stars age and they undergo too much electrical stress and they blow like any other overloaded node out there. And the electrical engineers out there know what I'm talking about. And the same thing happens to stars if somebody's not there to fix it. I'm actually, my beingness has been joined by a Pleiadian man who he's 8 foot tall, and he's an astrophysicist, and he actually knows how to go around and resolve the electrical and magnetic imbalances out there in star systems and keep things from exploding. But sometimes there isn't time to get to where there's a problem and fix it. And some problems are just so complicated that he's got to come and show up and take care of it himself. And Earth was one of those projects, and that's why he in particular is here. And he's working with me because he's, the technology that he knows, humans need to know. We need to be able to fly around from star system to star system and migrate like everybody else does. We need to know anti-gravity. We need to know how to heal ourselves using radio frequencies. We need to know how to tap free energy right out of the environment around us the way Tesla knew how to do. All that technology that we've been trying to get to this planet has been soaked up by your own government leaders and military. They took it and where they could, they turned this technology into weapons to use against you guys. And so I just go back a little bit in history. 70 years ago, Earth knew what these guys were plotting in terms of taking over the entire planet and killing millions and millions of you. And she ratted them out and called for help and backup. And backup's been on the way this entire time for 70 years. Those that were close were here. We were under surveillance already, but we had to wait until there was sufficient forces. In fact, we've had sufficient forces for a while. The Draconians know they're pinned down on this planet because we haven't let them leave for quite a while. And all of their nuclear weapons that they've tried to shoot off at one another, we've downed them using our antimatter technology. Using our ion beam weapons, and that's what the Norway spiral is, and what the spiral you see in Taiwan, China, Australia. Those were that was friendly fire taking down armed nuclear weapons that were being fired on this planet by the Draconians who were trying to start a third world war. They're trying to have the Armageddon. They went back in time and gave John at Patmos that vision of Armageddon, knowing that human beings can make manifest whatever they want, whatever they expect. And so they were hoping that enough of us would believe and fear the Armageddon to keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. And in a sense, it's worked because, we have kept on with that expectation. But see, they're outnumbered. The friendlies outnumber the bad guys down here on this planet trying to get that paradigm to happen. So the human beings who are haplessly expecting Armageddon and fearing it even have help in spite of themselves to make sure it doesn't happen. So the Pleiadians have been engaging these guys. The Syrians have representatives here on Earth that they channel to, and these guys have been going around and filing lawsuits against everybody who's guilty of treason. Every one of the liberal progressives in the United States has been channeling or is a draconian, channeling for or is a draconian reptilian entity, hiding under the cover of holographic technology. And so I just wanted to announce that these guys are getting ready to blow the signal, and I wanted you all to know that not to attack somebody just because they're a reptilian. And even if it's a reptilian who's guilty, Don't attack them. That gets karma on you. And, if you have karma I don't want you to take that ride on that prison planet. Let me put it that way, okay? I don't want anybody who's been a victim of having their child or their loved one stolen and never returned, kidnapped and never returned. I don't want anybody taking vigilante action against the reptilians once you can see who's who. Seriously, you don't even need to see who's who. The people who are very condescending towards others, who are who flip reality around and always make everybody else look like the bad guy when they're the ones sowing discontent and pain out there. Lovelessness, really. The loveless ones out there and around you and in your neighborhood, and the real takers. Likely those are reptilians, or they are under mental control of reptilians, and you got to understand that there's human beings who have been used like puppets, channeling the dark, and they don't want to, they just have. So you don't know who's who out there. Just because people have acted like they're channeling the dark doesn't mean that they would have preferred that for themselves. Humans are psychically weak compared to these guys, and so we got to cut one another a break, and even the reptilians too. Good and bad in every crowd, right? We can't judge every reptilian as being guilty of what's gone on this planet with the genetic engineering and hunting humans for food, and there's been some major bad juju down here. But these guys feed on our misery. They feed on our suffering. They feed on our negative emotions. They feed on our adrenaline for terror. And they love to drink human blood when it's all amped up and terrified. So the trick is, don't get upset, don't get angry, don't be fearful. I want you to know that this planet is surrounded by the whole host of heaven, of every species, of every kind that could come, is here to help you. And these bad guys are outnumbered, and they're going to be they're going to be locked up for their own safety mostly, because there's too many armed humans on this planet that would take vigilante action against them. So we want to lock them up. We're going to allow them to identify their own, but first I want their own to know that they have a choice. Just because you're reptilian or whatever doesn't mean you have to go where they're going. Don't go, in fact, because they'll eat you for food. They have no honor. They'll eat their own. They'll eat their own young. They don't care. It's survival of the fittest in their little world. They're not as evolved. And so if you don't want to go and be on a planet where it's a survival of the fittest, dog-eat-dog kind of world like they brought here to this one, don't go with them. I don't care if you're related or not. That's your choice. But I want you to know that the way that the future on this planet is going to be completely fair. Only equity. Nobody's going to be getting over on any